Hi guys, welcome back to the Tech Chat, where today I'm reviewing this, the Asus UX310UA. It's the 2016 replacement for the popular UX305 series, and what you get is a portable and pretty capable 13.3-inch laptop that crucially doesn't break the bank. Even this top spec model, which has a Skylake i7-6500U processor, 8GB of RAM, a Quad HD Plus resolution IPS display, 256GB SSD and a 500GB hard drive, has what I think is a pretty reasonable retail price of £800 or around $900, which puts it up against the likes of the Dell XPS 13. But you don't have to spend that much. Prices for the 310 here start at just £550, which is around $700 for the base i3-6100U model with 4GB of RAM and a full HD screen. So regardless of what version of the UX310UA you go for, it's a solid choice for office work, photo and video editing, web browsing, and watching videos and movies. But even this top spec i7 model with the integrated Intel 520 graphics struggles with more demanding or 4K video editing, and anything more than light gaming is pretty much off the table. But that's fair enough and pretty much par for the course with ultrabooks like this. As for the design, weighing 1.45 kilograms or 3.2 pounds, the UX310 is only a couple hundred grams heavier than the Dell XPS 13, but it is a good half a kilogram lighter than the MacBook Pro 13, so it's a great travel companion. And as you can see, we've got Asus's famous brushed aluminium design here, which makes the UX310 look and feel really classy and premium. Build quality on the whole is very good. There's no flexing in the keyboard or creaking, and the screen doesn't wobble too badly, unlike the UX360 I recently reviewed. One thing Asus could do with updating a little bit are these bezels. They haven't really changed since the UX305, and they are still quite chunky, especially next to the likes of the MacBook Pro or especially the Dell XPS 13, so that makes it look a little bit dated. But other than that, it's still a great looking and well-made machine. The port selection though is slightly odd, with a blend of old and new. There are 3 USB ports, but only one of them is USB 3, with the other 2 being the older USB 2, which is a bit strange on a 2016 laptop. But you do also get the brand new USB Type-C port. You get one of those, as well as a full-size HDMI, headphone jack, the DC power in, and an SD card reader, as well as 802.11 AC Wi-Fi and Bluetooth 4.1 inside. As for storage, the entry-level model comes with a 128GB SSD, but higher-end models like this, as I say, come with a 256 SSD and a 500 hard drive. A combination, actually, which is more common with gaming notebooks than ultrabooks, which usually just stick with a single SSD. Still, though, the SSD makes everything feel fast and responsive, from the super quick 7-second boot time to generally opening apps and files. It really is very fast and responsive. Now, as for the screen, the 13.3-inch IPS non-touch matte display is pretty great, actually. The colors are vibrant, the viewing angles are good, and it actually gets pretty bright as well. Now, as for the resolution, as I mentioned earlier, this particular model has a 3200 by 1800 or QHD plus resolution, which may be a great marketing tool for Asus, but in practice, I don't really see the benefit on a notebook this size. A higher pixel density is all well and good, but it's just not something you're going to notice unless you're really right up close to it trying to make out individual pixels. Of course, you do have to then scale it with Windows, and the downside is, as I said earlier, it has a big impact on battery life. Now, I haven't actually tested the full HD model of these, which I would probably recommend, so I'm not entirely sure that's the issue here, but the battery life on the UX310UA here leaves quite a lot to be desired, actually. After watching a 2-hour Netflix movie with power saving mode on and brightness set to 50%, the UX310UA was just left with 55% of its battery left, so you'd be lucky to get more than 4 hours of video playback out of it. But with general use, I found I got around 6 hours of battery from the 310, which isn't great and really no match for the XPS 13 or the MacBook Pro. Now, moving on to the keyboard and trackpad, I would say they're good but not great. The keyboard is a chiclet style, which they pretty much all are these days, which is great, and it's backlit, which looks nice. I have no problem touch typing on the keyboard though, but the keys feel quite spongy. They're not particularly satisfying to type on. As for the trackpad, it looks great, big glass sort of smooth surface here, a bit like a MacBook, so very nice to sort of feel. I did find it not quite as responsive as I'd like on screen. I did have to tweak the cursor settings a little bit in Windows to increase the sensitivity, as it was just a bit slow and imprecise out of the box. But I also found the trackpad makes a slightly annoying noise when you tap it, like this. It's as if it's being depressed, like I'm clicking it, which you can do, but I'm just sort of tapping it, just a single tap, which you do a left, or right click if you do two fingers. And it just sort of, it's a bit odd actually, and it just sort of makes it feel like there's a bit of a gap between it. It's not quite positioned well, but it's not the end of the world. It's just something I notice every time I use it going from another laptop. So again, not a deal breaker, but just a bit curious. On a lighter note, the Harman & Kardon speakers are actually pretty good. They're loud and reasonably rich, but they do lack bass, as you'd expect on a laptop this small. It's suitable for the odd YouTube video, but a good pair of headphones would be ideal for listening to music or watching a movie. Now, one final thing I'd like to mention is more of a complaint against Asus rather than this laptop specifically, but it's the amount of bloatware that comes pre-installed, from McAfee antivirus in the browser, on the desktop, to web storage readers and Evernote and things like that. There's just far too much crap on this laptop. It's the case with their tablets as well, so it's not specific to the UX310 here, so don't let that sort of put you off this one. It's just one of those little bugbears I wish they would stop doing. So that's the UX310UA, that's my review of it. A good looking and reasonably priced ultrabook that I happily recommend despite its flaws. The battery life does let it down, and the keyboard and trackpad are good but not great. But aside from that, I really like it, and if you fancy buying the 310 here, you can find links in the description below this video. And as always, let me know what you make of it in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you next time right here on the Tech Chat.